before the first human ever stood at its edge, before the river carved its way through stone, before even the stars looked the way they do now, this place was already becoming what it would one day be. The Grand Canyon is not just a landscape. It is time itself made visible. A mile-deep archive of Earth's memory, where every layer of rock tells a story older than any civilization, older than any nation, older than humanity itself. At sunrise, when the light first touches the canyon walls, colors emerge that seem impossible. Deep reds fade into gold. Shadows stretch across ancient cliffs. The air feels still, almost reverent. Standing here, you do not just see beauty, you feel small in the presence of something immeasurable. The Grand Canyon was not created by a single event. It was shaped slowly, patiently, by one of the most powerful forces on the planet, water. For millions of years, the Colorado River has carved through layers of rock, grinding stone into sand, carrying it away grain by grain. What began as a modest river became a relentless sculptor, cutting a chasm so vast that it can be seen from space. But the canyon's story began long before the river ever flowed. The rocks exposed here go back nearly 2 billion years. They formed in ancient oceans, deserts, swamps, and volcanic landscapes. Long before North America looked the way it does today, these layers were being laid down, compressed, and transformed by heat and pressure. When the Colorado Plateau slowly rose, these ancient rocks were lifted thousands of feet into the air, giving the river something to cut through. The canyon is not just deep, it is old. In some places, the rock at the bottom formed when the only life on Earth was microscopic. To stand at the rim is to look back across nearly half the age of the planet. Long before geologists studied these layers, people lived among them. For thousands of years, indigenous tribes such as the Havasupai, Hualapai, Hopi, Navajo, and Pueblo peoples have called the Grand Canyon home. They did not see it as empty wilderness. They saw it as sacred land, filled with stories, spirits, and meaning. The canyon was not something to conquer, it was something to respect. The Havasupai, whose name means people of the blue-green waters, still live deep within the canyon, near waterfalls that flow through red rock walls. Their connection to this place stretches back countless generations. Even today, they continue to protect and care for the land their ancestors walked. When European explorers first arrived in the 1500s, they could not believe what they saw. Spanish conquistadors stood at the rim and described a landscape too vast to cross, too deep to measure. For centuries, the canyon remained a mystery known but barely understood. It wasn't until the 19th century that explorers like John Wesley Powell dared to journey through it. In 1869, Powell led a small group of men down the Colorado River in wooden boats, navigating rapids that had never been mapped. Their journey was dangerous, unpredictable, and historic. They were not just traveling through space, they were traveling through time. Powell returned with stories that changed how the world saw the canyon. He described the layers of rock, the immense scale, and the scientific importance of what he had witnessed. The Grand Canyon was no longer just a natural wonder, it became a geological treasure. By the early 20th century, Americans began to realize what they had. In 1919, the Grand Canyon was officially designated a national park, protected so future generations could experience its power and beauty. But even today, scientists are still uncovering its secrets. New research has refined our understanding of how fast the river carved the canyon, how tectonic forces shaped the plateau, and how climate shifts influenced erosion. The Grand Canyon continues to be one of the most important natural laboratories on Earth, helping scientists understand how landscapes evolve over deep time. And yet, beyond all the data and discovery, there is something else here. Something that cannot be measured. The Grand Canyon inspires awe not because it is large, but because it is honest. It shows us what time can do. It shows us that even the hardest stone can be shaped, that even the most powerful forces work slowly, That patience can be more powerful than impact. As we move deeper into this story, we will explore how life, climate, and humanity continue to shape this extraordinary place, and how the canyon, in return, continues to shape us. The deeper you travel into the Grand Canyon, the more the world changes. Temperatures rise, vegetation shifts, the air grows heavier, and the colors of the rock become richer and darker. This is not one landscape, but many, stacked on top of each other like chapters in an unfinished book. At the rim, pine forests stretch across high plateaus, cool and green. A few thousand feet below, desert shrubs replace trees. Farther down, cactus and dry grasses take over. And at the bottom, the Colorado River flows through a ribbon of life, where cottonwood trees and willows grow along its banks. Few places on Earth contain so many different ecosystems in such a short vertical distance. This dramatic change in climate and terrain has allowed an extraordinary diversity of life to exist here. More than 1,500 plant species, hundreds of birds, mammals, reptiles, and insects all find a place in the canyon. Some live only in this region, adapted to its heat, dryness, and isolation. Among the most iconic animals are the desert bighorn sheep, which move effortlessly across steep cliffs that seem impossible to climb. Condors, once nearly extinct, now soar again above the canyon, riding rising air currents with wings that stretch nearly 10 feet across. Their return is one of the greatest conservation success stories in North America. The canyon is also a fragile place. Though the rock looks eternal, the life within it is sensitive to change. Rising temperatures, prolonged drought, and altered river flows all affect the delicate balance of the ecosystem. The Colorado River itself is now one of the most heavily managed rivers in the world, controlled by dams that provide water and electricity to millions of people across the Southwest. One of the most significant is the Glen Canyon Dam, which created Lake Powell upstream. While the dam brought economic benefits, it also changed how sediment flows through the canyon. Before the dam, floods carried sand that built beaches and shaped habitats. Today, much of that sediment is trapped, slowly altering the canyon's ecology. Scientists now conduct controlled water releases to try to restore some of the river's natural rhythm. It is a reminder that even well-intentioned human actions can have lasting consequences, and that restoring balance is often far more complex than disrupting it. Tourism also plays a powerful role. Millions of people visit the Grand Canyon every year. They come from every corner of the world, drawn by images of towering cliffs and glowing sunsets. For many, standing at the rim is a life-changing experience. But with popularity comes pressure. Trails erode. Wildlife habitats are disturbed. The challenge is not just to allow people to experience the canyon, but to ensure it remains for those who come after. Despite these challenges, the canyon continues to teach us. It teaches patience. It teaches humility. It teaches that nature does not hurry, yet achieves everything. As technology advances and cities grow, the Grand Canyon stands as a counterpoint to modern life. It offers no shortcuts, no instant results, only the quiet power of time, working layer by layer, shaping a masterpiece that no human hand could ever create. In the final part of our journey, we will step back from the cliffs and reflect on what the Grand Canyon truly represents, not just as a place, but as a message about the earth and our place within it. As the sun begins to set over the Grand Canyon, the walls glow with fire and shadow. The colors shift slowly, almost imperceptibly, as if the canyon itself is breathing. In these final moments of light, the vastness becomes even more profound. The noise of the world fades. What remains is silence, scale, and time. The Grand Canyon does not try to impress. It simply exists. And in doing so, it reminds us of something essential, that we are part of a story far larger than ourselves. Every river, every stone, every living thing here is connected through forces that stretch back millions of years. This is not just geology, it is the memory of the earth. For indigenous peoples, the canyon has always been more than scenery. It is a sacred space, a place where the physical and spiritual worlds meet. Their stories, passed down through generations, speak of balance, respect, and belonging. Long before science explained erosion and plate tectonics, these cultures understood that this land carried deep meaning. Modern science now confirms what ancient knowledge already knew. The canyon is alive in its own way. Not alive like an animal, but alive through change, through erosion, through climate, through the slow reshaping of the planet. Even today, the canyon continues to evolve, grain by grain, flood by flood. In a world increasingly defined by speed, the Grand Canyon offers a different lesson. It shows us the power of patience, the strength of persistence, the beauty of processes that unfold over unimaginable spans of time. It also shows us our responsibility. The canyon has survived ice ages, rising seas, and shifting continents, but it now faces something new, the choices of a single species. Climate change, water scarcity, and overuse of natural resources all place pressure on this ancient landscape. What happens here in the next century will shape what future generations are able to see, feel, and understand. Protecting the Grand Canyon is not just about preserving a view. It is about preserving a story that belongs to everyone. A story written in stone and water, telling us who we were, who we are, and who we might become. As we come to the end of this journey, one truth remains clear. The Grand Canyon is not just a destination. It is a reminder. A reminder that the Earth is powerful, patient, and endlessly creative. A reminder that even the greatest forces begin with something small. And a reminder that some of the most important things in life cannot be rushed. If this journey through one of the world's greatest natural wonders inspired you, take a moment to be part of the story. Like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more cinematic journeys through the places that shape our planet. Because some landscapes do not just take your breath away. They give you perspective.